Hello everyone, I'm Michael and I will talk about microbial ecosystems and the human microbiome in particular. In this presentation, we will first talk about major types of microbes and microbiomes to then specifically discuss key characteristics of the human microbiome. What are microbes? Some fun facts. Microbes are organisms that are too small to be seen with the naked eye, and you need a microscope to observe them. Microorganisms contain bacteria, archaea, fungi, and some unicellular eukaryotes, and some people would also count viruses to microorganisms. However, viruses, they do not replicate on their own and need other organisms to replicate. That's why there is a debate whether they should be counted as microorganisms or not. Microbes come in a huge variety of shapes, and their size is about 0.2 to 10 micrometers, so they're really small. If we put all microbes on Earth on a scale versus all living creatures on Earth on a gigantic balance, the weight of those tiny microbes will actually be more than all the living creatures. Only on our body alone, 1 trillion microbes are living. So that's more than stars in the Milky Way. Microbes live on Earth for about 4 billion years, and for the first 3 billion years, it was only microbes that lived on Earth. So we can truly say we live in a world of microbes. Microbes are the most ancient form of life on Earth, and they shape our planet. More than a trillion, 10 to the 12 different microbial species are estimated to exist. In total, 10 to the 30, that's a 1 with 30 zeros, microbes colonize every biotic, so living and abiotic, non-living surface on Earth. Microbes typically don't live alone. They live in communities, and those communities, together with their environment, are called microbial ecosystems. Microbial ecosystems that we know are water, soil, plant-associated microbes, human-associated microbes, the human microbiome, animal-associated microbes, and food-associated microbes, such as here on the picture, cheese or yogurt, which are microbial products. Given this vast diversity of ecosystems in which microbes live and survive, it's not surprising that microbes are very diverse, which is illustrated by the phylogenetic tree, where you can see that microbes are represented in all 3 kingdoms of life, 2 of which, the bacterial kingdom and the archaeal kingdom, uniquely exists of microbes. In the next part, we want to talk about a microbial ecosystem that is very close to our heart, the human microbiome. Our microbial self, or the human microbiome. So our body is colonized by different microbial communities. Microbes are found on pretty much every surface on the body, and these microbes live in communities with other microbes. As you can see in these different pie charts, where each color stands for a different type of bacteria. The types of microbes found at different body sites vary significantly, which you can also see from the different colors of the different pie charts. What shapes those different communities? It is environmental conditions such as oxygen. If you imagine microbes on skin or microbes in the intestine, the oxygen availability is very different. Whereas there's plenty of oxygen on skin, there are areas in the intestine where there's no oxygen around, so-called anaerobic conditions. Or when we look at pH, in the stomach, the pH is very sour, it's very low, whereas in other body parts, lower in the intestine, for example, we are close to pH 7, which is neutral. Other factors that influence the microbiome composition of a specific body site are also other microbes at that body site. When you look, for example, at the pie chart on the right, looking at the stomach, depending on whether you do have Helicobacter pylori, which is a pathogen that causes ulcer in the stomach, once you have that, there's barely any other microbes in that microbiome. In contrast, if you do not have H. pylori, there's plenty of other microbes available. Lastly, also the human host influences the community composition. For example, the immune system, which tries to keep pathogens, so bad bacteria, out, they also influence the microbiome composition. So if we take this all together, the microbes colonizing our body harbors about 100 times more genes than our own human genome. So genetically speaking, we are all about 99% microbial and only 1% human. When we compare genomes of individuals to each other, we realize that individuals are about 99.9% the same with their human genome and only 0.1% different. This picture dramatically changes when we look at the human microbiome, where differences between individuals can be as large as 80%, illustrating those large interpersonal differences, a key characteristics of the human microbiome. Where does the microbiome come from? How do we establish our microbiome? This is a very interesting question, and science has not yet managed to fully answer that question. But what is clear is that in the mother's belly, we are sterile, so we do not have microbes. And only at birth, we start collecting different microbes in our body. We start to assemble our microbiome. And of course, factors like food, like medication, like household are important factors that define what our microbiome looks like. And on the graph on the right of the slide, you see that the diversity or the distance of diversity between a children's microbiome and an adult microbiome over time. And what this graph, this curve shows is that after 3 to 4 years, an infant has established a full adult microbiome. To summarize this presentation, I wanted to show you how microbes were first life on Earth. That microbes contain bacteria, archaea, unicellular eukaryotes, and, depending on how you count, viruses. Microbes often live in communities whose composition can vary a lot depending on environmental conditions and their composition itself. On the human microbiome, we acquire microbes during early life. They colonize different body sites, and there are large differences between individuals' microbiome composition. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.